Coming off the back of what many, myself included, considered the massive critical and creative success of the two Dark Knight Returns movies, it's understandable that expectations for the next DC animated outing would be pretty high, and the follow-up is, of course, Superman Unbound.
This must be how he searches for planets.
If that thing's here, it's all going to happen again.
No. We can beat him.
Loosely based on the Jeff Johns story, Superman Brainiac, Unbound finds Superman doing battle with the alien threat of Brainiac and his city-stealing, world-destroying machinations. The thing that you'll probably notice right off the bat is that this is a very distinct art style that the movie is using. In particular, Lois Lane, who in this movie has jet black hair and bright purple eyes, despite the fact that no one else does. There was a moment here where I think I can be forgiven for thinking that she might actually be an alien too. And despite being called Superman Unbound, Supergirl Kara Zor-El actually plays a major part in the film. She's still new to Earth and learning the ropes, while also trying to recover from the scars left from what happened to both Krypton and the city of Kandor. Kandor, of course, being one of the cities taken by the evil Brainiac. And while we're on the subject of Brainiac, the version that appears in this film is both classic and new. Instead of being an evil AI from Krypton, like the one seen in Superman the Animated Series, he's back to his original Silver Age form, being a half-organic, half-machine entity that travels across the universe destroying planets in order to gain their knowledge, and as the movie begins has his sights set squarely on Earth. On the voice cast side of things, we have Chuck's Matt Bomer as Superman, who manages to turn in both a genuine and kindly performance as the Big Blue Boy Scout. Castle's Molly Quinn manages to be both powerful and vulnerable as Supergirl, but by far, the standout performance is actually Stana Katic, who steals the show in my mind as Lois Lane, complete with all the dry wit and feistiness that made me love the character so much in the comic. And, oh yeah, FYI, Katic actually played Talia in Arkham City as well. Huh.
You don't know many teenage girls, do you? Rebellious, angry at the world, doesn't know her own strength.
Of course, it wouldn't be a DC superhero film without some action backing it up. Unbound offers plenty of robot fights and a big dust-up between the Man of Steel and Brainiac, but honestly, I couldn't help but feel I've seen better and honestly more meaningful smackdowns in stuff like Justice League. Hell, even the Brainiac-heavy episodes of Superman. Not to mention, perhaps the biggest and most annoying change in adaptation from comic to movie is actually the omission of the death of Pa Kent, a story beat that played huge in the comic but is completely missing from the movie for some reason. It should also be noted that this is the first DC DVD movie not to have the guiding hand of Bruce Timm behind it, Timm having stepped down. In his place we have mainstay James Tucker, who while he doesn't do a bad job by any stretch, I can't help but feel like he had a big director's chair to fill. Now, there's nothing wrong with Superman Unbound, but there's nothing exceptional about it either. Superman vs. Brainiac is a well-traveled concept, but here it just feels kinda tired. Even though I did like stuff like Lois and Supergirl, and even though some of the dialogue I thought was funny, it wasn't near enough to make me want to recommend this movie. Perhaps the movie's biggest flaw is that it's not really about anything. Compare, if you would, to Superman vs. the Elites. Now, in that movie, Superman and Clark Kent had a lot to do. He was having his morals and ethics challenged by other superpowered beings, and it made for great drama. Here, we don't really have anything going on. Oh, there's a bit of a side plot going on about whether or not Clark will pop the question to Lois, but that's really it for the entire movie. Heck, even a prolonged trip to the bottle city of Kandor, which should be interesting, doesn't manage to save this movie. Nothing really comes out of it. Heck, even the final fate of the city and Supergirl's parents lack much needed resolution, if you ask me. In summation, if you're a big DC animated universe completionist like myself, then you won't have a bad time with this movie, but I doubt you'll be raving about it either. And if you're just a casual fan of these movies, then I'm comfortable saying you can skip it. Heck, go watch the first Brainiac episode of Superman the Animated Series. It's shorter and way more interesting.